So let's we see the concurrency control mechanisms in database management system. First, what is concurrency? That is more than one transactions are being executed simultaneously. So that is called concurrency. Then what the problems occurred in the concurrency. That is normally when the multiple transactions are concurrently executed in this sense, it leads to the inconsistencies of the database. So we need the proper concurrency control mechanisms for to maintain the consistency of the database. So the concurrency control mechanism which ensures that simultaneous execution of more than one transactions does not lead to any database inconsistencies. So first, that is what's the need for this concurrency control? First thing, to enforce isolation among transaction. The second thing, to preserve database inconsistencies and to resolve read and write and or write or read conflicts. Then problems due to concurrent execution. So we have four problems due to this concurrent execution. So for that only we have to go for the concurrency control mechanisms to avoid these kinds of problem. First thing, lost update problem. Lost update problems in the sense that is a lost update occurs when two different transactions are trying to update the same column on the same row within a database at the same time. So that is lost update problem. So in this example, consider the transaction. We have two transaction T1 and T2. First is transaction T1 read the data. So the initially the salary is 5,000. Then at the second time slot, the transaction T2 read the data. It's that times also the salary is 5,000. Then in transaction T1, the salary is incremented by 200. At the same time, by transaction T2, the salary is incremented by 500. So we have a conflict now whether the salary is 5,200 or 5,500. So that is a lost updation problem. Then second problem, dirty read problem. Dirty read problem means read the data immediately after the write operation of another one transaction. So here we have two transaction T1 and T2. So in transaction T1, first read operation, then write operation. So here, so in transaction T1, here there is no commit operation, but before the commit operation, the transaction T2 read the data item A and write the data item A. So then after some times that in transaction T1, that is here the data item A is not committed but it gets failure. So the data is not permanently saved, but that data is read per transaction T2. So that is dirty read problem. That is data items. That is we have sometimes we may make some changes in a data item, and before committing the operation, the data will be read by another transaction. So that is dirty read problem. So in this example, here the transaction in transaction 1, the stock item is updated by 11. Then transaction T2 reading the data, when transaction T2 read the data, the stock item is 11. So then here in transaction 1, that is one product is billing to the customer, and for some insufficient fund, the transaction is rolled back. So here the stock item is reverted as 12. So but transaction 2 read the data as 11. So that makes some inconsistencies. That is dirty read problem. Then non-repeatable read. Non-repeatable read is one in which data read twice inside the same transaction cannot be guaranteed to contain the same value. That is, in transaction T1 read the value, that time the salary is 5,000. Then T2, in transaction T2, the value is updated by 7,000, are updated as 7,000. So the salary is 7,000. Now in transaction T1, we read the data. So here the salary is 7,000. So the first time slot, the salary is 5,000. Then the second time slot, that is the value is read as 7,000. So here we have a conflict. So that data, that is when we reading the data two times in a same transaction, we can't have a we can't say that the value is same. So that is non-repeatable problem. Then quantum rate problem. So the quantum rate problem occurs when a transaction reads some value from the database, and when it reads the same value later, it finds that the value does not exist. So in the non-repeatable reading means that once we read the data, then after sometimes if we want to read the data means the value will be updated or changed. The value will not be same. That is non-repeatable read. So in quantum read, that is the value will not be exist. The first in transaction T1 at first time slot, the salary is 5,000. Then T2 also the salary 5,000. So in transaction T1, that time slot, that is they are delete the salary. Then when that now the transaction T2 tries the data to solve the to read the data. With that means here that the salary is not exist. So that is a phantom read problem. So these are the four major problems occurs due to the concurrency. So for that we need a proper concurrency control mechanisms for solving these kind of inconsistencies in a database. Okay, thank you.